Morning, everyone. How are you doing today? I am sorry I'm doing today's daily financial news, September 17th, 1 hour early today, because I have a 7 a.m. interview with Jonathan Twomley and an 8 a.m. with April Crossley, a couple of your favorite guests. So, in order to make this my first video of the day, I get up early just for you. So, a lot of stuff going on today. Yesterday was a big day. I do think the market is going to be opening lower and kind of feels like one of those days that doesn't end well. We'll see how it goes. I'm actually recording this just after the opening bell. I should have checked before I recorded this, but we'll see what happens. First and foremost, the Fed came out yesterday. That was a big kind of market moving for the week, and they basically said we're going to keep rates low for a long time. They're talking at least through 2023. I'm on record, and I'll say it again here. I think it's going to be most, if not all, of the decade. During the Great Recession, which is the most recent crisis we have been through, it was 7 years before rates moved, and I think this one is deeper and more structural in nature. So I believe it will be longer. The Fed did adjust their GDP numbers and their unemployment numbers for the end of the year, both in a positive direction, but really pointed out two things. So three things were the highlights. One, rates going to stay low for a long time, all the way out to 2023. Second, Congress, get off your butt and pass a stimulus bill. The American people need it. Do your job. He can't come out and be as aggressive as I'm sure he would like. That's not who he is. But that was very clear. And then um, the last one was he's going to do what it takes. And but he needs help, right? He needs Congress to come out and help. And I guess the last one, if you want to put one in there, is the comeback is nice off the bottom, kind of like a trampoline, right? Where we've absorbed that early bounce, and now the hard work begins, which was interesting. On that side, unemployment did come out this morning. It actually gets reported at 5:30 a.m. Pacific. I saw that. It came out at 860,000 new claims, slightly below the expectation of 875. But again, we can't accept this. We can't get used to this. Again, I go back to the last crisis. The peak in the last crisis was 606. We're at, what is it, 860, seemingly half a year into this thing. Not okay. And what I'm starting to wonder as we get closer and closer to October, right? This PPP money is running out, the summer and all these things. I am wondering if we have companies just giving up. I'm again on record saying that I think a lot of pain is going to be absorbed into the end of the year. I think we're seeing some of that play out in the unemployment numbers. You have mom and pop restaurants, retailers going, I give up, right? Gyms, I give up. Hotels, I give up. And this is this is just when it emotionally hurts, when you see people's dreams and things they worked for decades, and in some cases generations, turn in the keys, give it back, go bankrupt. That's unfortunately going to be a tall order in a story. We talked yesterday's financial news about Yelp. I think it was like 66% of the closures are now permanent, some odd number. That's from memory. I could be wrong. Yesterday's news would have it, so the 16th. But lots of stuff going on. Next up, I wanted to talk about, I was going to create its own video, but I think I'll just put it here. We have a bunch of billionaires asking for bailouts. You know, I certainly hope we don't give them any bailouts. For example, just to put names, Thomas Barrick, he went out and collected 160 hotels over the last couple of decades. He's got $1.97 billion in debt tied to those hotels. And you know what? He is having a hard time paying his debt. Well, Thomas, you have too much leverage. Shame on you. It was too easy to raise debt on Wall Street, collateralized debt. This is where commercial commercial debt's going to be the pain of this crisis, I believe, given what the Fed and Treasury have done for single family homes. Not to be outdone, we have Monty Bennett with $2.6 billion in debt tied to hotels that he's having a hard time paying. And there is a specific example of Doug Manchester in a $300 million deal in Houston or Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas. So we have a lot of hotelers. I think that's what you call them, begging for money. And a lot of them laddered up. The commercial mortgage-backed securities now is $550 billion market. Um, that is crumbling, cracking, showing stress. There was that Marriott. I think it was a hotel in Manhattan that went back to the bank already. There are going to be more and more of these. But again, Crimea River, a bunch of billionaires who took on too much debt to go buy toys. They just buy nicer toys. Now asking for the Fed to give them a bailout, which is I hope they give them the Heisman and say no thanks. But we'll keep going. Uh, Tech stocks, I'm guessing, are going to be down. This is something very reminiscent of my experience in the 2000s. I was wildly successful for a long time until I wasn't. I think what is happening now is what you're seeing now is you're going to see the big tech stocks, the ones we talk about, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, blah, blah, blah. They're going to have to be sold to raise cash to buy all these new IPO companies. We have a huge wave of supply coming, a lot of it in the cloud software space. See Snowflake yesterday with a record software IPO. We have a lot more companies coming. And frankly, what I saw in Snowflake's performance is a green light to every Silicon Valley company who's ever thought about an IPO. Time to go. That was very .com-ish. Once you saw others companies with zero revenue go public, everybody went public, and it just absorbed cash from elsewhere into these companies as they went public. So like Airbnb, for example, Airbnb should try to go public in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Do whatever they can, right? If you want to get into a hot market before it turns, now's the time. Airbnb, for example. Housing starts came out today, right at the same time as unemployment claims. It was the headline was disappointing. So some people on this YouTube university are going to say, "Oh my God, housing starts -5%. See, I told you it's a problem." Blah blah blah. Well, that's what happens when you only read the headlines. What I've been talking about, what you and I are talking about, is we're building single family homes. And when you look at housing starts, it's a collection of single family homes and multifamily homes. The negative print was all multifamily. Single family homes are up 4% month on month, and more importantly, 12% year on year. So we have validation of urban flight from renters to owners in the single family market. It's the multifamily build is a volatile number. What we are going to care about for the next 3 years is single family homes. And again, while the headline -5% may catch some of us by surprise, drill down, realize it was all multifamily building, and single family again up 4% month on month and 12% year on year. Just to show you that this crisis is going to get worse, I am sorry. We have Bank of England officially researching how to go negative on rates. I think it was yesterday, it might have been the day before, where Germany went to -0.5 or 0.5%. England is now saying, wow, we are in trouble, right, with Brexit and all these other things going on. They had a 21% net drop in GDP, and they're in trouble. So look for Bank of England to go negative very, very soon, probably in the next couple of weeks. Ford did announce that they're going to be releasing an all-electric F-150. It'd be interesting to see. It seems, with Nikola doing the truck, everybody wants to do electric. That will be interesting. They are building an assembly line in the U.S. that will be a brand new assembly line. So that's cool. Going to bring 300 jobs to that. So that's nice. Delta Airlines, I talked about, I think on Monday, they were going to raise $6 billion. They said, wow, the market's wide open. Let's go get 9. Again, we are, more debt is not the answer. You can very quickly turn into a zombie company and not be able to do this. And again, I think we need less. We need less flights, right? We need to figure this out. And I certainly hope we don't bail out airlines again. I know they are all asking for it, but we shall see. The big story of the day for me to kind of wrap this up is rent payments. Lots of people are following this channel looking at rent payments. As the unemployment kicker was there, collections far exceeded everybody's expectations back in March. Well, guess what? September has been weak. September rent collection national number was 86.2% as of the 13th, so almost the middle of the month. To put that in context, that is a full, what is that? Almost 2% worse than August, which was 1.5% worse than July. So we are on a negative trend. And this is, again, back to my point. I believe there's lots of mom and pop investors who are in trouble. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you do these live. But again, back to rent payments. I do believe there's a lot of mom and pop investors in trouble. This CDC order that came out is now being challenged. I saw an article that landlords in Nashville are challenging it because it is unconstitutional. Again, I don't see it getting through the courts in time to help anyone, but maybe it will prevent the CDC from doing this again in the future. But again, rent payments are down. Mom and pop landlords will struggle. Some of them will unfortunately lose properties. Others will give up and want to sell. And I believe the real loser in all of this, while mom and pop landlords lose today, and it's painful and it's sad, the affordable housing crowd is about to lose a lot of inventory. And it doesn't have to be this way, but it's going to happen, right? We are going to see less and less supply of affordable housing as landlords who have single family homes, about 11 million single family homes, say, you know what, I give up. Tenants, here's a 60-day notice. I'll give it to you in January after all these evictions are over. 60-day notice to get out. So January, February, March, tenants are out. They spend March, maybe early April repairing it, and then they sell it. What is hot today? Single family homes, home ownership. So landlords, January, 60-day notice. March, repair. April, sell. We are going to see less rental units. So if that's the case, you can, go against that wave, or, if you're in a tough spot, selling and kind of retrenching. So that's what I got for you today. I'm going to get ready for Jonathan Twombly here in about 15 minutes. And then actually, I think for my April Crossley interview I referenced earlier, I think I'm being interviewed on her channel. I think that's what we're doing today. So take care, everyone. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.